Hey guys, welcome to this new tutorial on my other channel. As you guys see the title, I'm going to show you today how to use this cool little software. It's free software on how to make fractals. And if you don't know what fractals are, they're really cool, digitally produced, I really don't know, they look like light renders. They look kind of like Cinema 4D renders, except they're kind of like light. Here, why don't I let you see for yourself? So I'm going to open up this program called Apophysis. And as you can see already, this little image on the screen looks pretty cool. So let me just put that there. It's kind of, so first thing you want to do is if this is clicked on, that's the transparency, click it to black, just because it gives you a better view. And if it's all, and make sure you change this little drop down menu to 5, just so it renders fastly. Because it'll take a little while. So now, just put on one of the demos over here in this window over here. You'll see there's a whole bunch of like rendered out different. They're called flames. Ooh, that one's cool. I like this one. Okay. So now what you're going to undo is this little button over here is called the editor. Open that up, and you're going to get something like this pop up. Now, don't get mad at me because I'm not completely like fluent with the software. I just know the basics. So basically what you do is you can drag these triangles around. Make a big donut shape. I'll move this over here so you can see what's happening on the screen. That's pretty cool. Alright, so now that you've got a nice shape, now, when we go over here to this little panel, and make sure you're on the Variations tab, change the linear to 0, and the spherical to 1. Now press enter. So as you can see, something pretty cool happens. Now all these things, all these little variations, there's like 100 or so, maybe not 100, maybe like 50. Let's just play around with them a little bit. So change that back to 0, and turn on the spiral, turn that on to 1. You never ever want to do 1 or more, because I'll show you what happens. Okay, I forgot to press it. So that's what happened. Now let's put on swirl 30. See, it's hardly visible because it's even 2 is like doesn't really do it justice. So, that's pretty cool, huh? So that's the spiral function. Change that back to 0. I like the spherical one, so I'm going to put that back on 1. So you only want to change it to 1, because any more than that it gets weird. Actually, no, never mind. Spherical is kind of annoying. I think I know why. Because I have spiral on. Pardon me. Alright, there we go. So now you've got the right, shape that you want. But you don't like the placement of it. You don't like where it is on the screen. So we're going to choose that. You can do one of two ways. The first way is by clicking Effects, and this creates a new triangle. And you can move this triangle around, resize it, however you want. And there you go. Alright, so now you can close that out. After you're happy with the shape of it, you can close that out. Now we're going to open up our gradient, or you can shortcut F6, opens up this little panel over here. Now this is where you choose the color. So there's lots of gradients. You can make your own, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to use a pre-made gradient. So I like the look of this one. You can use a slider to scroll around, see which one you like. What I'm trying to do right now is get most of the light in the center of this. Like that. Alright, so now that you're happy with your gradient, you're going to go over to rendering. And what I like to do is bring the gamma down to about 1.5. And as you can see, this just kind of gets rid of all this noise over here and brings out the hot spots. What I also like to do is bring the brightness up to 10. You can bring it higher if you want by dragging the slider. That's cool. So 10, there we go. And vibrancy, you don't want to adjust the vibrancy, because what the vibrancy does is it's kind of like the saturation. It takes most of the color out of it. So that's why I like to leave the vibrancy all the way back at 1. Now, here's the other way you can move it around. Instead of using the tool, the white square, or the right triangle here, you can use the camera tools. Now, what the camera tools are is basically you can zoom it in and out. Okay, it's going to take a while. I'm going to just leave it right there, though, because I like it there. Actually, maybe a little bit smaller. And you can move the X position, and the Y position, and the rotation. So these tools are a lot easier, in my opinion, than using the white triangle. Oh, sorry. Is a retake. And then lastly, but not leastly, we have the image size. I usually adjust it to 1280 by 1024. Just because I like them big. Pardon the pun. So close that out. And if you're happy with what you have right now, we're going to render it. Now, obviously, you're going to have to, like, experiment. Oh, one more thing. The mutation window. You can click on different types of mutations, and it'll just, like, they're basically just randoms. You can do so many cool things with them. So, you have that. Speed. This just adjusts, like, how drastically. And you can adjust the variation. So yeah, I'm happy with this. It looks really cool. I think, though, I'm going to adjust the zoom, just so I can get it all in the picture. First thing we do when we render it, change this back to 100. And as you can see, it takes a little bit of time. Ooh, I like it. Alright, so move it up a little bit, just so I can have the whole thing in the frame. Alright, coolios. Click on that transparency. So it has the transparency there. So if you want to use it in Photoshop or something, you can, because you just drag it in and slap on a new background. So I'm going to change to transparency. Then you would think you would go to File and go to Export Flame. Don't do that. It doesn't work. Go to Flame, right here, and click Render to Disk. And it'll bring up this little menu. So I've already got it saved in Fractals, and you want to make sure you don't delete the .png, or else it's going to save it to a different file. It's not good. Sorry about my mic again. And the different file usually it's just it won't be able to open it when anything. It's just like a blank file. So make sure you don't delete that PNG, but delete that, the Apophysis and whatever, and rename this. I'm going to name it Cool YouTube Swirls. Okay. .png. Make sure you have a .png extension on the end. It will save your life. Put 920 by 1080, and it'll automatically adjust the height. Maintain aspect ratio. If you want to adjust the height yourself, you'll deselect that and choose your height to a different. But I want to maintain the aspect ratio. 920 by 372, holy crap. Alright, so 920 by 1200. I suggest to put the quality, it'll be at 200. I suggest to put it at 4000, just because you'll get superb quality. And leave everything else. You can play around with that. I haven't done it yet. I just left it everything else as it is, and it seemed to work. So, yeah, 4000. And this, I warn you, if you don't have a good operating system, even for my computer, I have 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 6-core processor. It still takes about half an hour to render this out. So, if you don't want to wait, if you're in a rush, switch to something lower like 500. But for the purpose of the video, I'm going to use 4000 and just pause and restart when it's done. So now I'm going to start the rendering process. It's going to go through, it looks kind of like a DOS program. As you can see, there's only, oh wow, that's interesting. Okay, apparently there's 3 minutes left in this rendering. Usually, that's really weird because usually it takes me a lot longer, like a half an hour or so. It might for you, not sure. Alright, so I'm going to pause and restart when it's done rendering. Alright, so once the rendering process is done, I just finished rendering it out. Total time, it'll say your total time that it took, 3 minutes and 36.01 seconds. That's at least what it took me. Now it allocated 142.73 megabytes of memory, so if you don't have that, which you probably do, because Windows 7 needs at least 2 gigabytes of memory to run, you'll be fine. So it may just take longer if you only have like 4. So just close that out, or you can press the close button. That is fine as well. Now close this out. If you want to save your data, that's fine. You do that by going up here and save all parameters, or save parameters. But I'm not, because I don't need it again. Press yes. Now, just to make sure, we're going to go to my pictures into Fractals. Cool YouTube swirl right there. So now, you've got the transparency of this cool YouTube swirl. And just to show you that it's a transparency, I'm going to open up Photoshop. And mini bridge. Bear with me, guys. And just drag this on, and as you can see, it is indeed a transparency. Just to prove to you, I'm going to fill this layer with, or not, black, and see, as you can see, it's very nice. Alright, and hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll put a link to the picture, the fractal that we created, transparent version, and the one with the black background in the description. Plus, I will put a link to Apophysis for you lovely YouTubers to download. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Especially comment, because if you want to learn more about Photoshop or any of the CS5 collection, Pinnacle Studio, FL Studio, Minecraft, any other cool softwares that you want me to check out, please feel free to put in the comment section. I will see you next time, folks. Alright guys, so a bit of a side note, sorry I've extended this video so long. I just wanted to mention, sorry for my mic quality. Probably mentioned a bunch of other videos that it's like screwed, and I'm broke, so I can't like buy another mic at the present time being. So just bear with my tutorials. As long as they help, that's all that really matters, I think. But just disregard the fact that my mic is a piece of crap. What else did I want to talk about? Alright, yes, and I think I mentioned that this software is free. So it's a very good software for a free software. I definitely recommend downloading it. Thank you, and see you next time.